What is up, though, Lions fans? It's your boy Motor City Don P. We are back here once again. You already know what time it is. It is time to talk, the talk, then we talk, and we talk it, and we talk it, and sometimes we go crazy. I go crazy, and I'm going crazy, 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 because I'm thinking about the Lions. I'm going crazy. Um, shout out if you know, you know. Shout out if you know, you know. But you know what it is when you see me in front of TV. One thing's for certain, and three things are for sure. Number one, Motor City Cats are indeed back at it. Number two, I'm pausing for a dramatic effect. Number two, we came to give you stats and not none of that static. And number three, perhaps the most important number of them all, number three. You want to make sure you keep your Lions news pragmatic. And you may be asking yourself, how, Don, how, Mr. P, does one keep their Lions news pragmatic? Well, it's very simple. I'm glad you asked. I'm going to tell you. Smash the like button, subscribe, share. It's just that simple. And whichever order you've done those things in, once you've done those things, you've indeed kept your Lions news pragmatic. And since sharing is caring, your peoples are who you share with. Your mothers, your brothers, your fathers, your sisters, your cousins, your uncles, your sisters, your neighbors, your name it. You name it. Once you've shared with them, you have indeed cared about those people. We got some things we got to get into today. What else, man? What else is happening with this team right now? It ain't looking great. It ain't looking good. We got news that ain't good. We got news that ain't great. Look, man, at some point in time, someone is going to have to do a study. Someone is going to have to figure out what is with the Detroit Lions and the injuries. And the injuries that we have are like to our best players, bro. Aiden Hutchinson last year, Kirby Joseph this year. Frank Ragnow retired, came back, and then had to re-retire because he couldn't come out of retirement because he was injured. What were you injured doing, Frank? Ice fishing? Terrion Arnold is out. The list goes on. Amon-Ra St. Brown game time decision. The list goes on and on and on and on and on. And it's every single year. Every single year. It seems to be that we just have to deal with these injuries. And I don't know what it is. I wish I could figure it out. I wish I could tell you. I wish there was a way to solve it. Maybe they practice too hard. Maybe don't practice enough. I don't know. But all I know is that these injuries crop up at the worst possible time. Sam Laporta, out for the season. Terrion Arnold, out for the season. So on and so forth, out for the season. So much of this. And someone swore up and down. There were many people swearing up and down. It could not happen again this year. Now, we didn't have the number of injuries that we had last year, but the impact of the injuries that we had this year, I don't think can be quantified as not as great. I would just say not as devastating, right? Because we didn't lose an Aiden Hutchinson for the year this year. That happened last year. But judging off of what Kirby Joseph is saying about himself, about keeping the faith, about not it ain't gonna get no better this year, about all those things. That's Kirby Joseph. Is it pain tolerance? Is it something that's gonna get worse? Is it something that can it get worse? If it's just pain tolerance? I don't know. I mean, the Frank Ragnow thing was really the deflator. because Frank Ragnow coming out of retirement. We heard it wasn't going to happen. Just a few weeks ago, Dan Campbell stood up and told you at the podium that Frank Ragnow wasn't walking through that door. He said that. And then a few weeks later, he did walk through the door. And then he walked right back out of the door because he failed a physical. That was the deflator. Because everybody in Lions Land felt that that was the savior of the season. Frank Ragnow coming back was going to fix all of our offensive line woes. That was the savior of the season. We're going to be running the football again. Monty and Gibbs were going to be getting 100 yards per game minimum the rest of the way. Jared Goff was going to have 15 seconds to throw at every pass. Just, there were going to be holes open big enough for you to drive a Mack truck through, so on and so forth and so on. That's what was supposed to happen with Frank Ragnow coming back. Kirby Joseph may be lined up to miss his sixth, seventh straight game against the Dallas Cowboys team that's not going to be easy to beat. I'm sorry. No team in the NFL is easy to beat. This is not how it works. That's why it's called Any Given Sunday. You take Tennessee Titans, who are trash. They're not easy to beat. I forget who they were playing. They were playing some team this past weekend, and looked like they were dead in the water and made a comeback out of it. So these teams aren't easy to beat, and when you're missing your best players, it gets that much more difficult. And this is why you hear us harping on certain things like, yo, Brad, gotta stop with the projects, man. You have to stop doing that. It's you're doing a disservice to this team. Y'all remember Mekhi Wingo? Now, Mekhi Wingo doesn't really count because Mekhi Wingo was a 6th-round draft pick. So Mekhi Wingo's been a healthy scratch like every game this year. I mean, he might have played in one. But remember, it was supposed to be such a boost because, the guy could play inside and outside. Bro, get some specialists. Stop with this bullcrap, with this, I got guys that can play inside and outside. Damn, if your body type is the type for the inside, what motherfucker play inside? I don't want to see no 300-pound Tyus Lacey on the freaking edge. I don't want to see 300-pound Lee McNeil on the edge. Get somebody out there that can rush the passer. Get somebody in there that can stop the run. That's all we need. We need you, 300-pound man, to get in the middle of this defense and stop the run. We need you, 250-pound man to 270-pound man, to go over there and get on that edge and rush the passer. And oh, by the way, drive some 250-pound men. Drive some 250-pounders that can run a 4.5. Why not? What would it hurt? What would it hurt? I don't know. Where's Ja? Where's Ja? Someone find Ja Rule so we can make sense of all of this. I'm just at a loss of words, of the philosophy. And we're going to talk about the philosophy today. We're going to talk about the philosophy today. I've got 2 articles. I'm reading them both blind. I know what one of them's about, and I think the other one might be a little bit clickbaity. But if it is clickbaity, that gives me an opportunity to disagree with it. But before I do that, let me welcome everybody in the chat. I was just having a little bit of a rant. A little bit of a soliloquy. Just to start out my day. What up to everybody in the chat? What up, though? Let's see who this is. Greater Good. It said Darius Slay is a free agent right now. I mean, whatever. Go and get him. Go and get him. I don't know. I mean, is Darius Slay better than? I mean, he's better than Arthur Mallet at this point, right? Okay, go get him. I don't care. Go get him. No problem. No club in the NFL is more relevant than the Dallas Cowboys. None. That's a fact. That's a fact. They're on the Forbes list. Lord have mercy. Insufferable. JMO 2TD, Monty 2T loading Thursday night. I don't know nothing about no Monty 2 TTs, but JMO for sure. If JMO is the number one wide receiver, because Amon-Ra St. Brown is a game time decision. But JMO, like, see, again, nobody wants to talk about how JMO had 7 catches for 141 yards and a touchdown, season career high. Where was the haters at? I don't know. Get your popcorn ready. You got to get it ready. Wow, what an interesting concept. More speed on the edge. Facts. Hey man, you know, why I get to the quarterback so fast? Because I run faster. It's, James Houston would be nice right now. But guess what? James Houston on Thursday night is going to be on the other side of the football field, chasing Jared Goff. We're going to talk about the philosophy. We're going to talk about it. What up, those salty pork chops? That first part of that, I'm not reading. I don't know what that is. Please speak English when you come to my stream. What is this? What are these letters that you're putting out? I don't speak that language. I'm sorry. You are correct, sir. Most relevant and most valuable. Facts. I can't wait till the Lions win the bowl. I'm photoshopping you at hella dinner parties. Glad during your day. Why would you do that? And little old me, and shout out Sean Combs, The Reckoning on Netflix right now. I watched the first episode last night. Phenomenal. Diddy is a very bad person. He's a very bad person. Allegedly got Tupac killed. Allegedly. Very bad person. He's a very bad guy. Anyway, all right. As I said, I got 2 articles. We will read the one that I think could be clickbaity. First, I think we're going to read it. Quite positive we're going to read it. I opened it up. Ain't this about a... Hold on. Okay, here we go. All right. I found it. Okay. All right, let's let that load up right quick. Okay, so this one is from Mike Payton. Now, when I say Mike Payton, you know why I say it might be a little bit clickbaity, but we're gonna see what it says. It says this stat that's telling a big lie about the Detroit Lions defensive line that you have to stop believing. Okay, now is this lie something that we know that they're lying about, or is it a slappy lie, or is it an SOL lie? Okay, because that's really, there is a middle ground. You don't have to be a complete slappy, and you don't have to be a complete SOL person. There's a middle ground. It's called being a fan. That's what the middle ground is. Being a slappy, I feel like is like you're being a child. Like I told you guys a story about how I used to say crazy, wild stuff about Michael Jordan sucking and not being all that good, and because I was a child. And I would use words that I didn't know the meaning of, as a child. As an adult, you shouldn't be a slappy. Brad Holmes. Let's hold on. Before this, I just want to put a little bug in your ear. Shout out to In Your Ear. I'm kicking brand new flavor in your ear. Craig Mack, brand new flavor in your ear. Craig Mack was an ugly dude. I'm just saying, pause. Craig Mack. I'm thinking Brad. Anyway, Brad Holmes 2024 draft. What's the grade, bro? What is the grade? Brad Holmes 2024 draft. Who plays? Terrion Arnold is a starter. A lot of y'all aren't high on Terrion Arnold. Christian Mahogany is injured. The jury is out on him. I mean, for those of you that say that he's living off of the Jahmyr Gibbs pick, you're crazy. But if you want to say that he's living off of that draft, that singular draft, I'll listen to you. I'll hear it. I shall hear it. All right. Slabbies think anyone who questions Melvin is SOL. Facts. Ray Rice was a slab. Dude. The slabbies to me are SOL. I mean, I can see how you get there, but I think they're diametrically opposed. I would say they're SOLF, same old Lions fans, who have always believed that everything that the team has done has been to the benefit of the team and the fan base. I guess that's what you could call them. I don't trust slappies. Me neither. Did you list Laporta on the injury list? I did. I said Laporta. All right. So let's go ahead and get to this article. As I said, I'm kicking brand new flavor in here. Craig Mack's brand new flavor in here. All right. Now, the stat that's telling a big lie about the Detroit Lions defensive line that you have to stop believing. The Detroit, as I said, this is from A to Z Sports, Mike Payton. The Detroit Lions defensive line had a rough showing against the Green Bay Packers. At least that's the way that a lot of fans saw it. Oh boy, it's a spicy meatball. It's coming with lots and lots of disagreement. From what I got from that first sentence, is you about to sit up here and tell me why my eyes are lying to me? Okay, let's go. All right. A lot of that thought really stems from the fact that the Lions didn't sack Jordan Love one time. And I can fully understand how that is annoying. You want your line to have as many sacks as they can. But did the Lions really ever get a chance to do that on Thursday? You see, this is why I said I would go ahead and read Mike Payton's article first. This is why I said there's going to be a lot of opportunities to disagree. Because I rarely agree with Mike Payton. And until Mike Payton agrees to come on my show, I'm gonna be on his head. Pause. This is crazy that you're suggesting. What are you suggesting? Are you suggesting that the other team had a scheme that was too good for you to out scheme? Are you suggesting, Mike Payton, that being outcoached by your division rival is acceptable? Is that what you are suggesting? I just want to know. That's what I'm hearing right now. I just read the first paragraph. We will continue. But right now, to me, it looks like Mike Payton is suggesting that being outcoached is acceptable. Let's continue, shall we? Talking with Lions head coach Dan Campbell on Zoom Saturday morning, he said after watching the film, there were really only 3 times in that game where he felt the Lions were able to generate pressure. A lot of that comes from Love throwing the ball out fast. But if you get on the old NFL Next Gen stats, you'll see that Love had a time to throw of 3.09 seconds. That's all day, right? Time to throw is a stat that's been thrown around a lot by Lions fans this season. I get it. The Lions are allowing the highest time to throw in the league this season at 2.99 seconds per attempt. Ladies and gentlemen, we're being gaslit by Mike Payton. Mike Payton is gaslighting us. Mike Payton is playing the role of Melvin, Bradley, Matthias, Jerome, Cornelius, Equanimous Holmes. Okay, I threw in the Equanimous for effect. Shout out to Syndicate, Lions Syndicate. We just going. I think me and him. You know what? I'm gonna hit him up, and I'm gonna tell him we should have a competition. Who can make the most outrageous names for Brad Holmes? We should do that. All right. All right. So Melvin Bradley, Saquatarius, Equanimous, Contavious Caldwell, Pope Holmes. You know what I'm saying? That is the role that this man is playing right now. Okay. Time to throw can be a very misleading stat and can support false narratives. What? See, this is this is why I'm not a numbers guy. This is why I'm not a numbers guy. Because you're talking about a stat that can support false narratives when you have to look with your eyes. Look with your eyes. Okay? Don't be sorry, ho. Be careful. Use your eyes next time. Use your eyes. Where was your antennas? Okay, when wasn't nobody getting no sacks? You can tell me time to throw. You can say 1 second to 800 seconds. I don't care what you say. What I see is the quarterback not getting to the ground. And you know who sees that? Coach Shepard. And we'll talk about that in a bit. Let me finish this article, this bullcrap. All right. When you see that, you think there's no way that the Lions are generating any pressure. How could that be when they're generating the 5th highest pressure percentage in the league this season at 38.7%? That's better than the Steelers' 32.3%, and they are allowing the league's lowest time to throw this season at 2.65. They have 2 more sacks than the Lions. It's a skewed stat. Okay. Let me do something right quick. I just want to figure something out. Okay. I just want 1 second. Because we're just going to blow all of this out of the water. Okay. The Pittsburgh Steelers have 2 more sacks than the Lions. That's good, right? That's good. And they allow less of a time to throw, right? But the Detroit Lions generate 6% more pressure than them, right? Y'all following this because that don't matter at all because they have 2 more sacks than the Lions, but they're 6-6. What are we talking about? Why do we do these asinine things? Who cares if they're not winning? Do you know who has a whole lot more sacks than the Detroit Lions and have won more games? The Broncos, 10-2. Lions, 7-5. Don't talk to me about a team that has more sacks and is losing more. Now, granted, it is only 1 more game that they have lost and 1 less game than they have won. But it is less winning and more losing. Don't care about it. Okay, let's move on to the next part about this. Because the meatball is spicy. I told you, Mike Payton's always good for some content that don't make no goddamn sense. This is what I say all the time. All right. It's a skewed stat. How is it a skewed stat? Let's dig a little deeper. When Love was kept clean on Thursday and had no pressure, his time to throw was 2.31 seconds. That's really fast. The league average is between 2.69 and 2.81 seconds, and it helps put the Lions situation in extra perspective. When you add in the fact 19 of Love's 33 dropbacks were kept clean, that shows you exactly what Campbell is talking about. There was no time to generate a pass rush because it was dang near an immediate snap and pass situation. Here's what I want to ask you guys, okay? And I want you guys to answer this question in the chat. What is the definition of pass rush win rate? Does anybody remember what is the definition of pass rush win rate? Just give it to me now, because I know it. I got it in my head. It's in my mind. Okay, I don't have to go look up and research, because what he's doing is gaslighting you. Pass rush win rate is what? What does that stat indicate? This is, you know what I'm saying? I used to be a teacher. I'm giving y'all a class right now. Okay. What does pass rush win rate indicate? Somebody tell me. Yeah, I'm using that one. Well, all right. Let's see. Zach J says if he's dropping back and passing right away, then make adjustments on defense. No. Pass rush win rate. Somebody give me an answer, because I'm about to blow his whole situation out the water. Pause. Pass rush win rate indicates how the percentage of the time that the pass rusher beats his man within the first 2 seconds of the pass rush. Meaning that if you beat your man within the first 2 seconds, then 2.31 seconds is actually not enough time to throw if you're being pressured with the pass rush win rate. So if the pass rush win rate is higher, if your man is winning his one-on-one matchup at a higher clip than what you are doing with your 2.31 seconds, you are going to get pressured and maybe sacked. Maybe we'll get a close enough to smell your cologne. Huh? Maybe. In Jordan Love's case, his perfume, he's wearing that Victoria Don't Tell Nobody. Right? Because pass rush win rate dictates I can beat my man off the line in 2 seconds. Within the first 2 seconds. So that means I got to win in 2 seconds or less. And if I win in 2 seconds or less and he throws the ball in 2.3 seconds, then that means that I have 0.3 seconds to affect him. So when he was clean, listen to me now. When he was clean, he threw the ball in 2.31 seconds. Guess what? When he did that, that means there was no pressure because nobody won. I should be a lawyer. There was no pressure in those 2.31 second drop back and throws because nobody beat their match. Nobody jacks them scouts. Okay, hashtag if you know, you know. Use the hashtag. Nobody won. We didn't have a chance. Dan Campbell said we didn't have a chance to lay a hand on the man. No, Dan. Nobody won. Nobody won. See, pass rush win rate dictates that a man must beat his opponent one-on-one to the quarterback in 2 seconds or less. So the problem is not that he was throwing the ball. See, here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. Here's how you use that stat. Time to throw. If Jordan Love was throwing the ball in 1.5 seconds, then you can say, well, there really wasn't any time for us to get to the quarterback. Because even with pass rush win rate, you have to hit that man with that super swim and get underneath him and around him in 1.5 seconds if you want any chance to beat a quarterback who is throwing the ball in 2 seconds or less. But see, that's not what was happening. The quarterback was throwing in 2.31 seconds when he was kept clean, which means nobody was winning. I'm sorry. Let's continue with the BS, and then I'll get to your comments. Because you're over here gaslighting us. We not finna be gaslit. That's not happening. We not finna be gaslit. All right. There was no time to generate a pass rush because it was dang near an immediate snap and pass situation. False. Then, when you look at Love's time to throw when pressured, and you see it at 3.57, you might go, how the heck does it get worse? Let's show you right here on the video. Obviously, I'm not going to show you the video, but he's running around. He's scrambling. He's moving out of the pocket. We know what that means. We know what that means, Mike. We're not dumb. Okay, first off, the Packers are in max protect here. So good luck to most defensive lines trying to get pressure fast in the first place. Still, the coverage is good downfield, and the Lions do bring pressure and move Love off his spot, and he's forced to scramble around and then throws a bad pass. Ooh, I said that. He's scrambling. We know that. But here's the problem. He throws bad passes often when he scrambles, when he drifts back and throws those fadeaway passes. Those passes are bad. And guess why they weren't picked off? Because Kerby Joseph's not playing. You throw up a freaking lollipop soft ass pass like that and that hangs up in the air around Slim Pickens. I'm still going with that nickname, by the way. Slim Pickens back there. The man who has taken the ball away at the highest clip since Edward Reed III. That guy, Slim Pickens, Kerby Joseph. Let you hang a ball up in there that got a 5-second hang time and see what happened to you. Just see what happened to you. Come on, stop playing with me. Stop playing, Mike Payton. All you're doing is playing. You're not being real. You're gaslighting. Okay? All right. This is a successful play for the Lions defense, but it took Love 7 seconds to throw the ball, and that drastically skews things when calculating average time to throw. Focusing on the time to throw makes it again. Okay? I'm not going to read the rest of this. But I'm going to get to this part, this tweet. It says, Pride of Detroit. Kelvin Shepard said they're going to make some personnel schematic changes to try to generate more pressure, but says it will ultimately be on the players to play better too. Oh, goddamn. What? What? Hold on. Did I just say so we spent all this time babbling about time to throw and how it was a stat that didn't make any sense and it was skewing things that your eyes were disagreeing with. But then when I tell you pass rush win rate being higher dictates that you could actually get to a quarterback within 2.31 seconds. It's interesting. But then you just throw in the ultimate. What he writes before that tweet, it says, look, none of this is an excuse. The play has to be better. The Lions have to get more pressure lately. And most importantly, they have to get home. Lions DC Kelvin Shepard knows that, and that's why he's enacting some changes schematically going forward. Wow. You basically said nothing in that entire article. All you did was say, well, you shouldn't believe this stat, but what we're saying anyway is that the players have to play better. Because that's what I introduced when I said pass rush win rate, right? That the players needed to win their pass rush reps. I said that, right? Did I not say that? Okay. Y'all heard me say it, right? You synced it. It's kind of the words come out of my mouth. Okay, let me read your comments. Now that Sheila's out the bath, Brad is cutting some strawberries and chocolate, getting ready for her after dinner snack. Gets to the QB in 2.5 seconds or less. Okay. All right. Win rate, pressure, sack the damn QB, LOL. Don, what do you mean nobody, Obi-Wan? I don't remember when I said nobody, but remind me. Oh, Lord. When you watch the game, you clearly see he was comfortable in that pocket, no matter how quick he was throwing it. Nobody was close. Right. See, it's about watching and looking at things and not just relying on numbers. This is what we've been talking about. Imaginary Kings of the North Shore. What up, though, Shift? What I'm trying to say is if Dan claims it's an immediate pass, then you should make adjustments, aka chuck wide receivers at the line and give your DL more time. Make adjustments, man. No excuses. Facts. You are factually correct. Melvin missed on pass rush and is biting us in the ass now yet again. Right? There you go. It's on the players to play better, but we drafted football players, Melvin. Facts. Coaches have to coach better also. I would say so. Drop passes, QBs can't do a lot about it. That's how my offense. All right. So again, Mike Payton is. Oh snap! Hold on, 1 second. All righty. Bradley non-Saculius, no edge rushes, we goodiest Melvin Holmes. What up, though, Belinda Brown? Drop passes happen in large part because the team does not believe this in the system anymore. I see again, that doesn't make sense. It's so you're now accusing the receivers of quitting and dropping passes. Go back to the game against the Chicago Bears where Jackson Dart got hurt and Russell Wilson had to come in. That's exhibit A of wide receivers giving up. That's what happened. Okay? That's what that was. What you're saying, not the truth at all. All right. All right, let me get to this. Now we're going to talk about this scheme change. All right. Detroit Lions may change scheme to improve pass rush. This is from the doc, John Macaron, Detroit Lions on SI. Detroit Lions defensive coordinator Kevin Shepard understands the defense must now put aside pass errors and issues and execute at the highest level down the stretch. Among the most glaring issues impacting the team has been a defensive line that has not sacked the quarterback enough. In the last month of the season, the Lions have only recorded a total of 4 sacks. Let that sink in. In the last month of the season, the Lions have only recorded a total of 4 sacks. That's an average of 1 sack a game. I don't think we've affected the quarterback to play any style these last couple of weeks. I don't care what kind of style we want to play. And the guys understand that. And again, that starts with me, said Shepard. I'm not going to just point the finger. You've got to win the one-on-one. Yeah, no ish. Yeah, you've got to win your one-on-ones in this league. Okay. But I also got to find ways to try to maximize what we do what we do have to our disposal and put these guys in optimal position to be able to win. Give them tools to win. I told the room, it's our job to eliminate any gray, any hesitation in play, and it's their job to go out and execute, and that's coach to player, player to player on the field. Aiden Hutchinson expressed confidence the defensive line could remain patient and work to achieve their goals down the stretch. I think it's just not flowing right now, said Hutchinson. I don't know why. It's something that can be a tedious thing sometimes, but sometimes there can be certain games where you feel like who's not going to get a sack, you know? So I don't know. It's something you got to look at for sure. The challenge is difficult for Detroit's defensive line as opposing quarterbacks are trying to get the ball out quickly. But against the Giants, Jameis Winston had the second most time in the pocket among all quarterbacks that week. Packers quarterback Jordan Love was able to throw off his back foot and evaded Detroit's pressure all throughout the Thanksgiving Day Classic. Obviously, we haven't affected the quarterback at the rate that we were earlier in the year. There are things that we're going to switch up a little bit by personnel, by schematically, but at the end of the day, you're starting to get into November, December. Players make plays, said Shepard. Just like when I stood up here and we were limiting people to 10 points, 16 points, all this, and people were talking about us like we're the 85 Bears. I never said anything about it being some type of guru schematics. It's the players that are going out and executing and making that happen, Shepard added. And it's no different when we don't play so good. The players have to take accountability to that. I've got to start with me and say, what could I have done differently? And if guys are at the point of attack, if you have a one-on-one, you have to win those in this realm where we're at in this part of the season. Whew. That was a lot. Okay. That was a lot. But it comes down to players making plays. It comes down to all sorts of things. The personnel. I mean, I'd like to believe we have the personnel, but there's no way for me to believe that because we talk about that so much. The fact that we don't have the personnel. So what does that mean? Change in scheme. What are we going to do differently? That doesn't mean we're going to play a 3-4 or anything of that nature, right? What does it mean that we're going to change our scheme? The philosophy needs to change. I said this yesterday. The philosophy needs to change. The fact that you can walk around confidently saying that you have to earn the right to rush the passer is just ridiculous to me. It's ridiculous. You must stop the run 100%. because stopping the run is a situation in which you um it's about your manhood. It's about not getting pushed around, not getting punked when it comes to stopping the run. But here's the problem. When you do stop the run, you make the other team one dimensional, which is generally what you want to do. You want to take away what another team does and give them limited options. But for years, I've been saying that when you make them one dimensional, you have to then be able to make them pay. When the Detroit Lions make a team one dimensional, we then can't get to the quarterback. So instead of rushing for 100 yards or 200 yards on us, they could rush for 50 yards, but they're going to throw for 400. We have to change our philosophy. We have to put a very, very large importance on getting to the passer, on getting the passer on the ground. I don't care about pressures. I really don't. Because of pressure, and I've said this, many times. We're talking about like when Hutch was getting all those pressures, but he wasn't getting sacks or whatever the case may be. That's great. But tell me again how a pressure guarantees a bad result. A pressure can lead to a bad result for the offense. Pressures lead to sacks. You gotta pressure first before you can sack him. You don't just teleport to him and he's on the ground. No, a pressure has to come first. Cool. Okay. A pressure can lead to a quarterback throwing a bad pass. But you know what happens? Sometimes when a quarterback throws a bad pass, receivers catch it. A pressure can lead to a quarterback throwing a bad pass and then it getting intercepted. Pressures can lead to a lot of bad, but they're 50-50. Actually, it's not 50-50. It's with all these things. If we just talk about good and bad, then yeah, 50-50. But I just laid out 3-4 variables for you, so it couldn't be it's 33%, 25%, whatever the case may be. If you want to get into the minutia of it. You know what's 100% bad for the offense? A sack. A sack is 100% bad for the offense because the sack is going to lose you yards. Okay. It could be catastrophic. It's 100% bad, but it could be catastrophic because a sack could be a strip sack. And if it is strip sack, then the defense could recover. All right. So my OBS crashed. So give me a second for it to start back up so that I can turn the camera on. So anyway, as I was saying, a sack is 100% of badness. A sack can lead to a strip sack, which could be recovered by the offense or could be recovered by the defense. It could be recovered by the defense and it's just a change of possession, but it also could be recovered by the defense as they are able to scoop it and score it. So a lot of things can happen when you pressure the quarterback. And a lot of things can happen when you sack the quarterback. But 100% of the things that happen when you sack the quarterback are bad for the offense. It starts off with the quarterback going to the ground and the play being over. He has no chance of throwing the football. He has no chance of advancing the football. He has no chance of getting the ball to someone else on his team to make a play because the play is over. Everything else that happens after that is a bonus. The quarterback needs to be sacked. I don't care about no pressures. I don't care about no whiffs. The quarterback needs to be on the ground. The quarterback being on the ground is the fastest way for the offense to get off the field and give your offense the ball back and have an opportunity to go score points because you need more points than the other team to win the football game. It's very simple. It's not rocket science. All right. As I get to your comments, you know what time it is. Mailbag, mailbag. What you gonna do? What you gonna do when they reading you? Mailbag, mailbag, mailbag. Get your mailbag questions in. Get them in. Bask in it. What up to Mr. Morale 313? I might shorten it to Bradley Melvin We Goodiest Holmes. If you use the long name and I win, I want to shout out LOL. No problem. Why did it take defense this long to realize some changes need to be made? I don't know, Irv. I really don't. Why tell everyone you're going to scheme differently rather than staying quiet? I don't think it's going to matter. I really don't. It's, if you're getting different personnel, maybe. If you're telling them you're going to do something differently and you're doing something that's not on tape, then they don't know. What up, though? Well, when your personnel is Davenbom, AQM, and Tyrus, there's not many options. Facts. An extra pass rusher or two would transform this defense overall, but it also partly the CBs. Yeah, the longer you cover because your quarterback's not getting pressured, the more difficult it is to cover. The holes and issues we have this year can't be fixed this year. Fire John Morton, drive trenches, stop signing injured bums. Facts. A pressure can get a playmaking QB to make a play. That's also true. That is also true. That's bad for us. You think St. Brown and Joseph play Thursday? St. Brown is more likely. It's a game time decision. Kirby it doesn't sound good. Yeah, I was frozen in time. Mailbag. Would you rather live on the East Coast or the West Coast? Sunrises or sunsets? I'm an East Coast guy. I don't care nothing about sunrises and sunsets. Mailbag. Should we get Go get Slay to come back. I mean, with TA out, why not? I mean, why not? I'm not opposed to it. I don't know how much it's going to help at this point. At this point, can Slay rush the passer? You send him on some blitzes. Do something. Mailbag. Falcons head coach Raheem Morris was interviewed on Sunday after a loss to the Jets. The reporter threw some stats at him. Coach Morris' response was that stats were for losers. Your thoughts? Facts, coach. Now, you don't have to be a loser, but what I say is this. I don't trust stats just by stats being stats. You got to have some context. You got to have some eye tests. When you marry up stats with eye test, then you know if the stats are true or not true. Just like the drivel that I was reading from Mike Payton talking about. You can't get to the passer because he's throwing the ball too quickly. And then that was pass rush win rate, knocked all that out. So, mailbag. If I'm not mistaken, wasn't it just a few weeks ago that Coach Shep was the toast of the town? Now he's under a microscope. Is the sky falling in the NFC North because the Bears are 9-3? Yes. Yes. It's because of the Bears. Because they shouldn't be number one in the North or the NFC. Mailbag, the Cowboys are going to clog the middle of Ford Field come Thursday night. So the pressure will be on Jared Goff. What does he need to do to carry the Lions to a W? Maybe he needs to get the ball out in 2.3 seconds. Imagine. Don, it matters if you drive to work every day. The West Coast, as in Los Angeles, has terrible traffic. So I don't know. Or are you just talking about watching the sunrise and the sunsets are detrimental to you driving if you're driving in the sunrise or in the sunset? I will never live on the West Coast after watching a documentary called X-Ray Earth, California about to break off and fall into the ocean. I don't know if it's going to fall into the ocean. I think it would take a significant amount for a landmass to just fall into the ocean. I don't know if that's going to happen. Don't know what difference it would make at this point. Do you think if Brad and Sheila gave a press conference, it would provide fam some sort of confidence again? No. Brad cannot provide the fans with any confidence in him until he addresses obvious holes on this team, until he stops taking project players with third-round picks. 6 wasted draft picks. 6. And we're sitting up here talking about all these people that are on, and that's just the ones that he made picks with, right? But we're saying those are wasted, because if you use a third-round pick in the Brian Branch deal, no one cares about that because you got Brian Branch. If you used it in the Jahmyr Gibbs deal, no one cares about that because you got Jahmyr Gibbs. If you use it in a JMO deal, nobody cares about that because you got JMO. But there were 6 third-round picks wasted on Broderick Martin, Manu. Again, I know Brad used a third-rounder to trade up in the 4th round to get Manu. Hendon Hooker and Isaac Tesla. There were 6 third-round picks wasted in those deals. So you can't instill any type of confidence when you're doing stuff like that. So he's got to stop doing that. East and West Coast of Florida is pretty different. Yeah, but we're talking about the East and the West Coast of the country. Why did a D-line makeover this offseason on the edges? The middle is fine in my – okay, I don't get that one. Water, breeze, sun, and traffic. Traffic is traffic. Traffic is traffic. We need a D-line. Okay, we need a D-line makeover. Okay, I got you. I would rather become a Bears fan before I ever move to a state like California or Oregon. Yeah, I would not become a Bears fan. I would just move to California or Oregon. All right, y'all. I appreciate you once again. Yeah, I got to go ahead and get going, but I will be here tomorrow. We'll go over the prediction, score prediction, all that stuff for the game on Thursday night. Appreciate everyone to stop by for a drink and conversation. And we will see you later. If you are not a subscriber to the Motor City Cats podcast, make sure you go over to Motor City Cats on YouTube and subscribe, share the stream, do all that stuff. As a matter of fact, why don't I help you by putting a link in the chat to the channel that if you are not a subscriber, you can go over there right now and do the subscribing. It's easy. I try to make it easy for you all. All right. So once again, the Motor City Cats are back at it. We came to give you stats, not none of that static. Whatever you do, make sure you keep your Lions news pragmatic. And we are out. Peace.